Was there a time when, is there been like a fighter or something since then you look and you're like, man, it would have been fun to fight them? Or do you have like moments like that?
There's a lot of guys that I wish we would have fight, you know, and that would be big fight. It would have made history, but you know, like it takes three entities to make a fight. It takes one fighter, the other fighter. It takes the promoter as well, and very often the promoter didn't reach our demands. You know what I mean? And everything needs to be aligned for the three entities.
Yeah, I know people always talk about you and Khabib fighting. You know, did that interest you kind of?
So it was the fight that I would have come back for at the time. Not now. Now time have passed. But after I retired, there was one fight I would have, you know, I would have had to go. It would have been Khabib. And
what was the most? What challenge? What excited you about that the most? I mean, obviously he was undefeated. So
but he's undefeated. He's got a perfect career. He's the competitor inside of me would have taken the fight. You know.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the fight I would have done it. You know, but it needed to be at the right time, and when it was time to do it, UFC didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
So they wait a few years after when we were both retired and the train was passed.
Yeah.
The moment was gone. And when Dana called me, I said, I thought it was weird. I was like, are you like, is Khabib want to fight? He said, because he said no in all interviews. He said, no, he's down. I'm like, okay, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. And I thought it was weird. So I called his manager, Ali Abdelaziz, and Ali said, hey, man, the timing is not good. It's bullshit. It's not true. And after I've told the media what happened. And then I went, I don't do three people calls when I... And I thought it was hilarious, but because he's right. You know, he's not going to call a guy and say, hey, no, the other guy doesn't want...
No, that's not business.
He's a promoter. He's going to say, hey, this guy said this about you. Do you want to fight him? And you want to use the emotions
of course.
to make you tune in. And
it's like playing your mom against your dad. It's like, hey, dad, mom said I can do this. And then you go to, hey, mom, dad said I can do this. Neither one of them said they could, but now you're outside playing.
Exactly. It's all a game. It's all a freaking game. And
it's a lot of pressure, I think, on Dana, probably. I bet it's a lot of pressure because not only is he the promoter, but he's also, you have to answer all the questions.
And he's in a business. He's in control of a business.
Yeah.
It's not up to him. If someone sign a contract that suck, he's not going to say, hey, you worth more money. You should have, you know what I mean? Man, he's a businessman. He's going to take it and take advantage of you. So it's not because what I'm saying is Dana is a good guy. I've met him. And when
you've met him, of course.
Met him many times, but I met him while I was competing. So when I was competing and Dana called me, before I hang up the phone, I was like, shit. Take a inhale. Try to think of what is the possible thing that he's going to ask me, because you need to be quick when he calls you.
Yeah.
You don't want to say
waste
something.
His time.
Or you just say, you don't answer, or you're always like, because this is a game. It's a chess game, man, with a fight game.
Yeah.
Everything you say, everything you do is going to have an outcome. So you're like, okay, what he's going to say, this is it. Then you prepare. If you're ready, you take the call. If you're not ready, I'm going to prepare myself.
Let me take a breather.
That's how it is.
Yeah. Let me call Mike Brown. Let me get somebody to massage me during the off rounds.
But the thing with Dana is my relation has changed over the year, because now it's more friendly. He calls me, I'm not even gonna hesitate to say, hey, Dana, what's up? Like, whatever, I'm ready for anything. But when I was fighting, it's normal to have that reaction, because he's the boss. And you know, whatever he's going to ask you, whatever you say, it's going to be the whole world going to know. So you cannot retract what you said.
Right.
So when he calls you, when I was fighting, I was like, shit. Sometimes I saw a certain instance, I was like, man, I'm not taking the call right now, or I'm going to call him back, think about what it could
have a little strategy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like when your boss says, what are you up to this weekend, right? Now if your boss, they want you to work at 4:30 on Saturday, right? And you do not want to. But if you tell them that nothing much, then you're halfway to working, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting when you're the owner. It's also hard to be. I bet at times it's probably maybe I'm not putting words in his mouth or anything, but I bet it's tough for him to also be a person.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's easier after the fact because running a business is totally different than being a human being sometimes.
He takes a lot of heat sometimes, and he does a lot of stuff that he needs to do for the best of the business, best of the UFC interests. And it's normal that he's running a business.
And it's worked out because look at the UFC has created opportunities for so many guys.
I had a lot of clash with Dana when I was.
You did? I didn't even know that.
No, we did add a lot of clashes when I was fighting because I attained a certain level of power that he couldn't control me as much. Some of the guys, he could say, you do this. Oh yeah, yes, sir. Like me, I was like, no, it's not gonna work because I was making him a lot of profit, a lot of money. So when there's a lot of things that they asked me, and I said, hell no, I'm not doing it because it's not for the best of my interest.
Right.
So same thing when you negotiate for a fight, my thing was like, if I'm negotiate for a big fight, why am I going to do all the interviews, all the promotion if I don't touch a piece of the pie?
Right.
You know what I mean? So give me a piece of the pie so it will encourage me to do more promotion.
Yeah.
Because if you don't touch any piece of the pie, if you don't have nothing, why am I going to do this? I'm just going to waste my time while I'm supposed to train and rest. I'm going to do interview.
And your time has become more valuable because you're the champion, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting when you get to a certain level how the negotiations kind of change.
It has to.
It's pretty fascinating.
You have to be to look at it in that way.
And were you able to get like pay-per-view points and stuff back then in your fights?
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Oh, congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you. But the thing is, there's a lot of guys in the business that in this industry that are not well managed. You know, they don't ask for what they're worth, and they're kind of afraid or they don't take right decision. And it's not Dana's job to say, hey, I think you should ask for a raise or it's normal. He's not going to do that. He's the boss. He's on the other side of the fight game. You're fighting for a contract. This should be your manager's fight. You have someone that look for the best of your interests. And that's one fight. And the other fight is in the octagon.
Yeah.
So...
Well, it's fascinating. I think that a lot of that happens with art. When art or talent turns into business, there's this other element that comes on, And sometimes you have to trust your instincts, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. But that's how you hone your instincts to be sharper too, is by using them, And yeah, I bet it's tricky probably for Dana because I bet there's a lot of guys that he super cares about, but he also has to run a business, So I can't imagine that's got to be. It's got to be tricky, And I think also you hear the nicest stuff. Like you'll hear like all the stuff he does from his employees or places that he tries to help out.
During COVID, he didn't lay off nobody. It's amazing.
Oh, I called him the other day asking him for some help with something. I know that so he's a great guy. I think he's also a great businessman.
100%.
And so that's
great
probably
person
where it's tricky.
Too. He's a great guy. And fighters, guys that are listening to us now, when they're in middle of a competition, like when they're competing, they might not have that relationship with Dana because Dana is on the other side.
Right.
So it's always like a fight relationship. But once they're gonna retire, they're gonna see a total different person, and same thing with the Fertitta brother. These guys are all great guys, and every time I meet them, it's hey, what's up, big hug. Dana, the Fertitta brother, all these guys. Yeah, we're all friends here. Everything we did, the clashes that we had, it was because we were fighting for the best of our interests, and it's normal. It's just business. And I think if you want to be successful, especially as an athlete in mixed martial art, you need to build a team.
Yeah, you
can't do all that by yourself because you don't have all the credential to do all the jobs. You need to have lawyers. You need to find a team of people that you can trust and people that have competence. Because sometimes people, they hire people who trust, but they turn out to be incompetent. It's bad because it's gonna make you do like how do you say, like air bike, you're not gonna go forward, you're gonna
extra
spin and and if you have someone who's competent but someone that you cannot trust, maybe is gonna he's gonna screw you in,
Right.
in down the road.
It's
You know,
tough, man. Starting to run a business or work with people, it's hard. But then you also like, I mean, one thing is like people criticize Dana and the UFC, but no other promotion has been able to sustain itself and establish itself and make it go that, you know, and flourish. So I think it's fascinating, and I think it is. I think he'll be studied one day in the sense by business people. I mean, I can't even imagine, because you have so many guys that are really putting their lives on the line,
Yeah.
and then you have, you know, I just can't imagine it. It's got to be a lot, you know.